Living with Katrina Lokko. I am excited, y'all. If y'all knew who I had in the house with me today. Guys, I had the opportunity of working with this young lady, and I mean, she is a ball of fire, but she also loves people, and she has just done one of the most amazing things. She put this book collaboration together, and I mean, it was something that needed to be talked about. The name of the book is called Pretty and Prestigious. Please help me welcome Kendra Sikes, the Bookologist.
Hi.
Welcome, Kendra.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, good. Finally,
I know.
I know. Girl, I am so excited. You have done a thing.
Thank you.
And I mean, you have done it well.
Thank you so much.
Wow, so tell us a little bit about Kendra. Who is Kendra Sikes?
Oh, wow. Well, Kendra Sikes, first of all, you already said I am the bookologist. So typically what I do is I take my experience as a 4-time best-selling author and storytelling passion to be able to be the midwife to those that have powerful stories in their belly, to just help them give birth to those stories in book form. And so that's a little bit about what I do. I'm a mother of 5, a wife, a minister. I mean, I wear many hats, but that's just a clip of what I do.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot, but that's still good. I remember the other night at your release party, one of the ladies was like, you were pulling it out of her. Mm-hmm. You were calling like, that's good, but I need more. You got more in you. And she noted that you were pulling it out of her. So tell me a little bit about it, because obviously, like she was saying, you seen something more than what they were writing and what they were saying. So tell me a little bit about that.
You know what? I think it's a gift that I was given, because when I first wrote my first book, I didn't really have anyone to help pull that out of me, and so I wrote my first book in 2015. It launched in 2016. And it's called Rebirth from Curse. And I wrote that by myself. I knew that I was called to write, but I didn't have any idea that it was going to give birth to this powerful platform that I'm doing right now. Even just going back to it, I remember when I first started writing, it was a prophecy that was given to me when I was in church. And someone was like, ma'am, I see you dealing with many of books. And I'm looking at him like, he off, because I don't like even reading books right now. But, he was setting me up for something great. So even going back to what you're asking me, I didn't have someone to, help coach me through it. And so I knew that I was called to help. And so before I started publishing, I started out as a book coach. And so it was people coming to me that knew they had a story to write, but they just didn't know how to get it on paper. Because some people think when you write a book, it's just like writing a journal, but it's totally different. You gotta have the tone, you gotta have the plot, you gotta have the flow. And so that's what I do. I just kind of help pull back the layers and help them identify their voice, what they're looking for, the why in the story, the mission, who they want to target, why they're targeting that audience, and I help them put it on paper. So that's a little bit about what I do.
Oh, well, yeah, you just said a mouthful, because, the popular opinion right now is just write a book, journal, write a book, but you're saying that that's a good thing to journal, but you need somebody like you to coach. So what is one of the first things, if somebody was to call you and say, hey, Kendra, I have a book, I've got all these pages written down, what is the first thing you do?
So if someone have already written, then I would just kind of ask them, like, what's your mission? Because I feel like there's 2 different people in this world that write a book. Some people just want to write because they just want to get it out. They got the story to tell. But then there's some people that want to write and they have a brand they want to build from it. They know that they want to build something from that story. And so I just ask them, what's your mission? Who are you? Are you one that just want to get it out, or do you want to build a brand? So we'll start there. And then from their answer, I just kind of start tailor fitting, informing. I look at their manuscript and see if there's some expertise that I can give to kind of help pull out more. Because this is what I just feel like it's a gift for me. I'm able to look at a story and be able to tell if there's something that needs to be taken out. And I can even tell the spirit that somebody's writing the book in. I remember getting a manuscript from a lady, and by reading it, I remember I was able to tell she wrote that in the spirit of anger. And I gave it back to her. I said, no, ma'am, you need to heal. And
That's
then we're going to come back. Because you tell your story different whenever you're healed. And so that is why I try to get people to go through that healing process while they're writing, but don't write in a place of anger. And so that's what I do. I just talk to them about their mission and then go from there.
Oh, well, yeah, that is definitely a gift. That is definitely a gift, because you think about it. When you said that, I'm thinking about so many books that I've read. Now I'm going to be looking at books differently. But that's true. I can understand why you're the bookologist now, because most people don't dissect books like that, like what you just said. And even with the writers, they just don't dissect that.
Absolutely.
So before you was the bookologist, before you got the prophecy, who was Kendra Sikes? Where were you going? Now you're in a different place, but where was you going? Where was you trying to get to?
Oh goodness, wow. Well, definitely got a story to tell. So, who was I? I was this broken girl. I didn't really know what my purpose was back then. I remember crying and asking God. I was surrounded by so many people that I knew that was going someplace, and I knew that I was called to do certain things because God specifically saved me from so many things. But I was this broken girl. I didn't have any, idea of really what my purpose was. So I was still trying to find that place. So just going back a little bit about my testimony, I grew up in a broken home. My mom, she was dealing with alcoholism, and my dad was addicted to a drug. And so in my home, it was just a lot of chaos, and so that caused me to have low self-esteem and things of that nature. So that's pretty much where I started out in. I had my first baby at 15, and then dealing with also domestic violence. I have a long history of that as well, so that's why I'm able to really help women heal, because I've been through that before. So that's a part of my purpose and a part of my plan. So that's a little bit about who I was before I get into this. A salesperson, I was working on the phones, so I was just this basic girl before I tapped into my calling.
Wow. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that, tapping into your calling.
I'm Kendra Sikes, the visionary of Pretty and Prestigious. These women have brought you something powerful to help you unlock your soul in a time where confidence is needed. Take this journey with me.
Well, welcome back. If you just now joined us, you have joined at the right time. I am sitting here with the bookologist. Yes, you heard me. The bookologist, Miss Kendra Sikes. Before we went to commercial break, Kendra was telling us about her life growing up, and it's actually what's led her here today. So, Kendra, you were this broken girl, everything. You got pregnant at 15. So that was the end of your story, right? Mm-hmm. Or yes. That was not?
I would say it was the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell us what happened there. And I like to say that because a lot of people get stuck there. Mm-hmm. They get stuck at, I was pregnant, I was 15, and they get stuck and they never heal from it. But clearly you have healed from that.
Absolutely.
So what was the next step? After healing from that, what was the next step?
Like I said, just walking and just being able to understand who I was. And I say that because it took a lot of healing for myself to be able to walk into that purpose. I had to get healed before I was even able to heal someone else, and so what I would say, what God just really had to deal with me, because even stepping into business, I was still kind of broken. I'm gonna be honest, not many people in business are able to just really voice that.
That's right.
But I was still broken, and so I really just had to spend a lot of time getting to know myself, getting to know God, who He called me to be, and so that way I could really give my platform, my audience, people that God called to be the best of me, because I feel like I'm very firm on standing on the term people say, you can't pour out from an empty cup. So I spent a lot of time allowing God to pour it into me, and so that's why I'm able to give it back, give my clients, my audience, my people that God called me the best of Kendra Sikes.
Oh wow. So then the night you were talking about when you were starting on this journey, it was like you had lost everything, and you were walking, and girl, go into that, because it had me crying, but in a good way, because you were saying that even though you were going through all of that no one knew, and you were still pursuing what you knew you were called to do.
Absolutely. So when I first started my business, like I said, I knew God called me into it, so I was just straight out obedient. He said, Kendra, this is what I want you to do, and so I did it. And I'm still like that to this day. He said, give me a dream, the next day I'm on it. I'm starting to work on it. But when I first started my business, I was going through some personal things. Me and my husband were going through some stuff at home, separation. We still wasn't in that place of deliverance from our relationship. So what I mean by that is we were going through our own domestic violence problems, or in stuff in our home that we were dealing with. And so there were seasons in that first starting my business, I started from nothing. All I had was a word from God and faith. And all I had was a vision, because I knew that I wanted to be successful. I had children, so I knew that I wanted to break that cycle. I grew up broke. I didn't want my children to grow up like that. So I said, I'm going to give it all I got. So in that being said, I remember having to walk. There was a Dunkin' Donuts. I was living in Conyers, Georgia at that moment. There was everything in Georgia is far away from each other. Dallas, you can get to a store within 5 minutes. But not in Georgia. And so I was so dedicated and passionate about my purpose. I would get up and walk 2 miles to the nearest Dunkin' Donuts just to be able to get on Wi-Fi. We didn't have a car, and I would just basically continue to show up, because I knew I had clients that was reaching out to me, and I'm like, I gotta give them, the best of me. And I remember, even in the midst of going through that, walking to the nearest Dunkin' Donuts to be able to use the Wi-Fi to talk to my clients, I was doing content. So I was posting on social media, reaching out, doing flyers and things like that. And it was a very successful lady. She reached out to me, and she's like, hey, I want you to be a panel, at my conference. And in that moment, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I just started this business. I probably got like 1 client, I'm going through this. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. Our water's off. I'm talking about, we were going through so much, lights off. We were just going through so much. But I showed up. God told me to show up that day. I went to a hotel. I washed up, because like I said, our water was off at that moment. So I washed up, took a shower, and I put on my makeup, and I showed up. And it's so funny because, when you have the anointing of God up on you, it radiates.
Yes, it does.
So when I walked through the door, I remember everybody was just watching. I really didn't understand who, but now I understand why. And so once I was on that panel, I'm looking over to my left, and it was women that's millionaires, 6-figure people that's been in business 15 years and been successful. And I'm like, how am I going to identify with that?
Wow.
But I gave them all, God, I spoke the truth. I told them where I come from, being broke, from nothing. And at the end of that conference, everybody was lined up to talk to me.
Wow. See, won't he do it?
Yes.
He will. So how did that make you feel, knowing that you were in this place at this moment, but you gave it all you had because he put it in you, and then people talk. Do you know how many lives that was changed that day? I just don't know. How did that make you feel?
I knew that I had to tell somebody that your past does not determine your future. You can be in the midst of something, you can be going through, but if you stay, it just reminds me of the story of Job. He went through so much, he lost everything, but he didn't give up on God. And he kept going. It took years and years and years, but God gave him back double for his trouble. And so I just want to tell for those that's watching today, you may be going through something, you may be knowing that God called you to start a business, you may be broken or whatever, but you just keep on to that promise, and I promise you God will give you double for your trouble.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So the next phase of your life after that, what happened after that? What just broke after that? Because I know it did.
Yes. A pipe burst. I was consistent, I was showing up, and the next thing I know, clients were reaching out to me. Although within 1 year, I published 100 books.
What? Wait a minute. Let's go back there.
Yes, ma'am.
You had no lights, no water, you was walking, no car, broken, going through marital issues, and you published 100 books.
Sure
and you had kids at the time.
I sure did.
And you published 100 books.
I did.
Girl.
Yes.
Y'all, there is nothing impossible. Nothing impossible. You published 100 books.
I sure did.
Wow, when we come back, we're going to talk about that.
In today's unpredictable world, children are being forced to find new ways to occupy their mind. Inner-city youth are finding themselves with less activities and fewer places to go. 49-year-old record producer and videographer Marcus Bean has implemented a community program to help these kids stay occupied and develop skills and change their outlook on everyday life.
It's all about commitment and change.
Saga Youth Solutions is a program based in Clarksville, Tennessee, SYS. is a multimedia company that allows teens to come learn different production techniques and provide them with a structured learning environment, and also provides advice, job assistance, and a place to talk about everyday teen issues.
And that's why it's the reason why we believe in group settings, is because the kids, when they're not at home, they're mainly together. So if we can get them to work together and learn how to be respectful toward each other, then we can teach them how to carry that over into everyday life. No one wants to believe that these kids are out here just deliberately trying to get in trouble. We just have to find different ways for them to channel their energy and make better choices. A lot of these kids, they're not bad. They just sit around all day because they don't have anything to do. So we try to mix this with their curriculum at school, and we come up with projects that are based around what they're doing at school. So it's not like we're in here making records cursing and disrespectful. We're making positive music. We're shooting positive videos. They're actually working on a movie right now, so I can't wait to see what that's going to look like.
Saga Youth Solutions is currently only available in the Clarksville, Nashville area, but looks forward to expanding. If you would like more information on this program, you can email at sagayouthsolutions@gmail.com or call 931-237-5122.
And I see a lot of me in these kids, because when I was growing up, I wasn't an angel either. But at some point, someone in my life came and tried to put me on the right track. Did I listen all the time? No. But someone was there. And as I got older, I understood what they were talking about. And that's what these kids need. Instead of being locked up and thrown away, they need something to do, something to put their time in.
Welcome back, guys. I'm sitting here talking to the Bookologist. 100 books in less than a year. Yeah, she's the Bookologist, y'all. She's the Bookologist. So, Kendra, 100 books.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
Do you remember all the women that, the authors of those books? Do you still keep in contact
Oh,
with them?
absolutely. Every last one of us are dear friends. But there's one thing I do. I create a bond with my clients. We are sisters to this day. And I'm going to be honest, majority of the 100 women is by word of mouth. One client will refer 5. The next client will refer 2. And so that's how I was able to get that title.
But that's good, though.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, coming from a place where you come from. But you out of that place now, and you're on the greater thing. And so this is what we're talking about. The baby you have right now.
Yes.
Pretty and prestigious.
Pretty and
Tell us
prestigious.
about this. What was the vision behind the book?
Ooh, wow, man.
How did you even get it?
Woo, I was driving in my car one day,
Uh-huh.
and I was talking to God. I said, okay, God, I just finished one project. You know, I seek you for everything, so what? Let's on to the next. And you know, in business, there's ups and downs. So
Yes.
when I was given this title, I was on that down moment. So I was going through some things, COVID hit, you know, so I was dealing with that. And I was driving my car, and I remember God, I was like, God, give me the title. What can I do? How can I empower women? What's my next steps? And I'm driving, and he said, pretty and prestigious. For some reason, I just broke down crying. I don't know why. Tears started to flow in, and I just started seeing the names of women that I knew that I wanted to participate in this book. So that's how it was given to me. In the car, a Holy Spirit moment.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the book.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it just, woo.
Absolutely. So Pretty and Prestigious, the 7 keys to breakthrough in inner beauty. So what it is that, so when I was seeking God about the title, I was asking him why Pretty and Prestigious, because he wants us to focus on the women and the young women, teenagers. This book is for you too, because we need to break the narrative of Pretty and Prestigious only solely being on the outside.
Oh, that's true.
Why? Because there's so many beautiful girls out there. They feeling that they don't meet the model. You know, they don't look like the models on Instagram. If they don't have the long hair or the light skin, if they don't have this 23-inch waist, that they're not a beautiful woman. But God wanted us to go back into the spiritual side of it, and to understand that Pretty and Prestigious begins on the inside.
Yes.
And so that's what we're doing. The authors and I, we are just basically just telling a little bit about our story, going back to understand how we were able to get to where we are today, and giving women and teenage girls tips on how to become a pretty and prestigious woman.
Wow. So it's the inside.
Yes.
Because we do. We look at the outside, and yeah, social media has like
Yeah.
really sent a narrative that you have to look a certain way. We were already faced with it growing up,
Yeah.
even before social media. But when social media came on the scene, it was like everybody has to be like this. Everybody has to look like this. And that's not true.
Absolutely.
And what it has caused a rift in a lot of young women, and a lot of these young women grow up and have kids and they
Yes.
pass this stuff on.
That's true.
And so with this book, what narrative can you honestly say that if I'm 16 years old, I picked that up? Which narrative do you believe as a 16-year-old is more true, or for a 16-year-old?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I would say, I'm just going to act like I'm speaking to my younger self.
Yes.
You can be whoever God called you to be. You do not have to fit in with the world. You can be unique. You can have gifts and talents that may not look like the other person, but that doesn't mean, if you don't look exactly like them, that doesn't mean that you're not beautiful or you're not this prestigious woman. So just allow God to guide you and order your steps, and that will break the narrative right there.
Yeah, but you gotta be strong and
You gotta
do
be
that.
strong,
Yes,
yeah.
because I know with kids nowadays, there's so much. They go through, I say it way more than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Because of social media.
Yes.
And it wasn't that these things weren't happening,
Right.
and now it's just visible to the world because it goes all over the world. So is there anything in there that you want us to know?
Oh, yeah.
One
So
thing?
I'll just read this.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting.
So I'll just read this. It says, pretty and prestigious is more than just a name, it's a lifestyle. And that's a quote that was given by me. Many women struggle with understanding the true meaning of pretty and prestigious. Pretty isn't just the outer appearance of a woman in her best outfit with red lipstick. And a prestigious is more than just having a high status. And I say, get your notebook and pen and take notes. Kendra Sikes, Melody Holt, Latasha Brooks, Brandy Bowen, Ashley Nadine, Trisha Love, Ebony Browning, and Tanisha Castellanos give an in-depth account of their journey to becoming women of influence. Although each journey is different, these powerful women share how to overcome loss, divorce, homelessness, depression, grief, and so much more, all while chasing their purpose. In this entertaining tell-all book, you'll be inspired, empowered, and activated. So get ready to receive the keys to your breakthrough and get the strategy to remain inner beauty while striving to be successful.
Oh, wow, that's good. Because inner beauty is true beauty.
Absolutely.
Explain that to our audience. What does inner beauty look like?
Oh, yeah. Do you remember that song, Pretty is Only Skin Deep?
Yeah.
Yes, baby. Pretty is skin deep. Yes. So and I say that to say is you can look good on the outside, but your inside is messed up. And it reminds me of that song that Beyonce had, Pretty Hurts. Your soul needs a surgery. So it starts from the inside. You have to have a relationship with God. If you don't have the relationship with God, it's just almost failure. Is just it's dropped. I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And I say that because if you don't have God to give you that strategy, those footsteps, you'll end up getting lost. That's why you see so many successful women committed suicide.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
feel like if you had a relationship with God, that wouldn't have happened. And inner beauty, confidence. If you seek God for your confidence and your value, you won't have to seek man to be able to validate that.
That's true.
And so that's what inner beauty is.
Wow. Kendra, this has been good. I'm going to have you back on here. It's like, yeah, this is so good. So if someone wanted to get a hold of you, and we'll have your information on the screen, what is one of the things that you would tell somebody to prepare before they meet with you?
Oh, wow. So if you want to reach out to me, if you feel like you have a powerful story in your belly, you can contact me on Kendra C. Sikes. It's all social media. Just Kendra C. Sikes, the Bookologist, is how you'll be able to find me. And one thing that I want to leave with you all today is your past does not determine your future.
Thank you, Kendra. Guys, you heard it here. The Bookologist was in the house. And what got me, my takeaway was when you said you knew it was a gift, and that when people write, that you can depict which spirit they're writing from. That's powerful.
Yes.
That's the Bookologist, y'all, Kendra C. Sikes. And thank you for watching Mold Unique Living with Katrina Lokko.